Hey guys, Steve from Rentec's office in Anaheim, California. How are y'all doing? Today I'm going to show you how to replace a lens mount in a Christie HD20KJ and also how to do a Boresight adjustment in HD20KJ or the HD14K M series. For this job we're going to need three tools. We're going to need a long 5mm ball-end wrench, a number 2 Phillips, and a 2mm ball-end driver. Just to give you a quick idea of what this is a J-series lens mount. But just so you kind of get an idea how it works. You see it's a two-piece mount. You've got the back mounting plate, but then you've also got the front mounting plate here. It's spring-loaded, so you can torque down the adjustment bolts as much as needed. But then you've also got the smaller set screws. Those provide back pressure up this way as the springs are pushing down. The springs provide pressure, but also vibration resistance. The set screws just keep everything locked in place. The reason I have to replace this one is after about 20 to 30 minutes of boresighting, I was struggling to get in focus and couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. It was at that point I took the mount apart and realized that somebody replaced all the screws in the lens mount with M series screws. Now, so to get an idea, that's what a J series screw looks like, or sorry, J-series spring looks like. The reason it's a longer and heavier spring is because of the way it mounts to the projector. On an M-series, it mounts straight in and doesn't connect to the light tube. On a J-series, it actually connects to the light tube via a 1/4 inch to 1 inch thick aluminum plate. So to start the process off, we're going to take the locking lever off. 2mm ball end. Just back this off ever so slightly. Don't want it to fall out. Just a few turns should do it. And lift it up and set the old mount aside. Bring our new one in. And as you can see on the stem, there's a flat section right here, and that's where our set screw is going to live for the lever. Place that back down. Make sure it's all the way flush to the bottom. And we're going to crank this back down 5 or 6 turns or so. Clean it up a little bit and make sure our lever function works, which it does. And now we're set to mount this back into the projector. So now I've pulled the front of the projector cover off. I've got the top off as well, so you can kind of see what's inside. Panel driver there in the back under that cover, light engine in the middle. I just had to do a coolant replacement pump here and pulled the old one out, put the new one in. Only takes a couple seconds. So now we're looking at the mounting plate to the lens mount. We have our wires hanging here. We've got the vertical motor connection. We've got the vertical motor horizontal sensor. We have the horizontal motor and the vertical sensor here, down on this side here. Also, connection up here is the black wires that lead all the way back to the panel driver. These control the zoom and focus motors on the actual lens. So this is our mounting plate. It's only 4 screws. Don't have to take the entire thing out. So I'm going to put some bolts in, mount it back up and wire it in, and we'll get on with doing the boresight. Okay, so I've got my lens mount back on. I've got the 4 bolts in each corner in place and tightened down. You want to tighten those down like you would do a car tire, kind of make a star pattern. Top left, bottom right, top right, bottom left, and make sure it's on nice and flush. We've got our motor connections up here, vertical motor, horizontal sensor, horizontal motor, sensor down there, and then again all of our connections to the lens mount, which controls the zoom and focus of the lens. So now I'm just going to insert a lens, fire it up, and we'll start on the boresight procedure. Now we've got our lens mount in, lens is in, got fired up. As we look at the screen, we are way out of focus, and at this point I'm at the absolute end of my focal range. No matter what I do, I'm not really going to get this thing into focus at all, even though it's brand new right out of the box, because as an optical adjustment, everything needs to be made per projector. There's no one easy fix. What we want to do here is we want to find the dead center of focus and the dead center of zoom, as well as to have the lens image shifted vertically centered and horizontally centered. So first of all, we're going to take our zoom and we're going to follow the teeth on the lens. We're going to watch it move until it stops, Then we're going back the other way and watch it until it stops. Then we're going to find the medium, just about dead center of that point, which is about here. Same thing with our focus. We're going to rack our focus one way until it stops. We're going to come back the other direction again until it stops. And we're going to try to find when it's just about dead center or 0. I'm going to say about right there. So now we look at our screen. Image is smaller, but still equally out of focus. So what we're going to do is take our long 5mm wrench, and we're going to start by backing out our set screws. About 3 or 4 turns, basically till you see about 3 threads on each of the lockdown screws. I'm just going to back them out a little bit until we have some room to play with, and we're going to adjust. So what we're going to do is now work on the adjustments. Remember, top bolt adjust up and down, and each of the lower points adjust the opposite corner. This one would adjust the top right of the screen. This one would adjust the top left of the screen. So now we're going to work our adjustment points, as I was saying. The top bolt adjusts up and down the image, and the bottom bolts on the left and right adjust the opposite top corner of the image. So looking at the screen right now, I'm going to adjust the up and down bolt, and we're going to watch and see that's very slowly starting to come into focus. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Come back down to the bottom right side, start tweaking, bring it up a little bit better. Come to the opposite side. Again, tweak it up a little bit more. And we're getting a lot better in focus. Almost perfect. So now we can see where we really are. Adjust our focus, see our zoom. We're going to go into the configuration menu at this point. Click on lens. Make sure that intelligent lens and calibrate is there. Now we're going to hit home. Okay, so that's where it wants the vertical center to be. We're going to bring our zoom back to 0. Come on. I'll edit this. And we'll bring our focus back to 0 as well. You can still see we're pretty high up, so now we can see where we truly are. Alright, so now we go back to the dance again. We're going to back out our set screws just a little bit more. And we're going to go back to the adjustments. Look at the screen. Raise her up. We're going to look at the top, center, and bottom targets right in the middle. I'll make sure they're nicely in focus. Look at the top left. That brings us into focus there really, really well. Make our adjustment on this side. Tweak it until that top right corner is nice and sharp. And we look at the image overall. Looks like we're good. We'll come back now to what we call the set screws. And just give those a turn. And watch the image so that as we're locking these back down, we don't move and knock it out of focus. There's the top. There's the left. And there's the right. So they're all locked down. For the most part, we're nice and Boresighted. Just a couple fine little tweaks in the top and corner, and we should be done. So that's it. Remember, these are the adjustment or the back pressure screws, and these are the actual lens focus adjustment. Remember, the biggest thing you need to do beforehand, the most important thing, is to make sure the lens is centered left and right, and that the zoom and focus are at their midpoints. 0 on focus and 0 on zoom. Thanks a lot. Catch you guys later.